fix our schools.
Now! We need a plan
to fix our schools.
Now! We need a plan
to fix our schools.
Now!
My name is Natasha Capers. I'm a parent from District 23 in Brownsville, New York, where my children attend PS IS 298.
Yay!
One short year ago, I stood on the steps of City Hall calling for the mayor to stop the truncation of our middle school, where the pleas fell on deaf ears. And we come back here today to call for a moratorium on all the school closings, all co-locations, until a real plan is put into place to help all of the students of New York City. Over the past 12 years, Mayor Bloomberg has failed our children, failed our communities, failed our students, and failed us as parents and community members. And we call for an end to it all. The policies of this administration have been divisive. They cut out parents, they cut out communities, and we are here standing united as parents, as elected officials, as union leaders, as students, as parent organizers and as advocacy groups to call for an end of all school closings and co-locations until a real plan is put into place. All students, all schools, all neighborhoods, all constituencies deserve the right to succeed in New York City.
With so many elected officials, so many officials, parent groups, and organizations from across the city to say, let us stop school closings and let us stop co-location right now. The Bloomberg administration, and I also stand here not as just the former controller, but the former president of the New York City Board of Education, we worked and knew how to turn schools around. School closings aren't a policy. It's not an educational strategy, and the Bloomberg administration has embraced it as such. They act as if school closings are real policy. They're not. If anything, it's an admission of failure. What we need to do is to work to turn schools around. There's something called the Chancellor's District that used to exist. They got rid of it. Chancellor's District turned schools around. Co-location right now, they're using school closings and then turning around and co-locating schools and charter schools in there. Not against charter schools, but against bad educational policy again.
Many of us had called for a moratorium on school closures and co-locations almost a year ago. And we reiterate that call today. School closures are somehow seen by this administration and the current Department of Education as some kind of sign of progress. They proudly announced that they're going to close dozens of schools and in fact have closed about 140 schools during their tenure. That's not progress, that's defeat. Also, these co-locations are so often based on incredibly faulty capacity and utilization data as exposed by my audit last year of the Blue Book. And not only are they based on faulty data, but they create so much friction and tension within the school buildings between administrators, between children, between the teachers, between parents. And they create great rifts in the community. They do far more harm than good. For all these reasons and every other reason that everybody's going to say today, we got to stop the school closures and the co-locations.
End male control! 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 End male control!
Then there was the issue of PS 114 in Canarsie, Brooklyn. In this school, for 3 years, the parents and the teachers kept telling the DOE, our principal is not working for us. Our principal is causing our school to fall backwards. In the 4th year, the DOE agreed, removed the principal, and then said, guess what, PS 114, we're going to close you down because you've been going the wrong direction. It was the DOE's own fault. But these parents stood firm and they organized and they saved their school. And what they wanted was support to make their school better, not the constant message that their school couldn't possibly work. And then, July 2011, we offered a plan for how this DOE could actually work with parents, could actually collaborate with them to figure out whether a co-location could function or not, whether a closure made sense or not. The DOE said they would work with these ideas and then promptly went in the opposite direction. And finally, we did a report in 2012 on career and technical education, pointing out that so many schools in need, so many career and technical education schools needed a different model of parent engagement, needed the DOE to work with the communities involved. This idea too was promptly ignored. The bottom line is, this mayor, this chancellor do not believe in working with parents. They do not believe in working with teachers and administrators to fix troubled schools. Today I sent this letter to Mayor Bloomberg, calling for an immediate moratorium on all closures and co-locations. It's time. It's broken. It's not going to get fixed this year. It's clear that the lights are out and no one is listening at the Tweed Building or at City Hall. The only solution now is a moratorium. Thank you.
EPP! 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 EPP!
Why are we here asking for a moratorium? Because we've given up trying to work with this administration. We've given up. Everything we say falls on deaf ears. They don't want to listen to parents. They give everybody lip service. I don't think anyone would have ever imagined that a mayor of New York would gloat over how many schools he can close. Just imagine that, explaining that to children in schools 20 years from now. We had a mayor who gloated over how many schools he could close in New York City. That is what exactly is going on here. Every time they close the school, we've documented it over and over again. The domino effect to the other schools. The no plan on supporting schools. Schools that are in trouble and struggling, and schools that now have huge numbers of high concentrations of high-need students. But the fact that 11 years and 1 month in, we have a mayor who's still out there saying, my legacy is about how many schools I close, is why we're standing here today. Because nobody wants to see this happening anymore. In terms of good co-locations, parents saying they want to say in how their buildings are being used in their community. That's what they're asking for. And the mayor is saying no. Open up the doors. Let people see what is going on inside of these schools. How children are being treated differently inside of the same building. This is what is going on in our city in 2013. That is why we're standing here today, saying enough. And we're going to Albany, asking them to put a stop to this madness. And that's why we all stand here today. And I want to...
Michael, what would the plan look like in addition to immediately stopping the closing of schools? What would the plan look like?
Why don't we talk to the communities and see how they want their schools to be used? And in terms of closing schools, we need a plan that says if a school is struggling, we need to get to it early, come up with a plan to help it. We don't do that now. What we do is actually pile more stress on top of the school instead of doing anything to try to help it. And that just makes no sense to me as a teacher who taught for 13 years. If that's the attitude I had towards my students, I'd be a horrendous teacher. And for them to treat schools this way is just a very bad thing.